Hey, guess what? Revealed, U.S. is collaborating with Chinese scientists to make bird flu strains more infectious and deadly as part of a $1 million project, despite fears similar tests unleashed COVID.
They're working again together after that last thing kind of got awkward?
Once again, it's kind of...
And then a steal.
They're doing it again. It's like somebody going, hey, maybe we could work with that Harvey Weinstein again. I know he did some really messed up stuff, but let's make some more movies. Once again, here we go, everybody. Now set your brain to zero.
Try to guess what animal they're going to fake that
like
someone was in
like you have
with.
it. I'm Kurt.
Oh, I didn't know you're doing a bit.
Now,
it sounds like a conversation.
Okay. I'm mid-sentence, baby. Now set your brain to zero like you haven't learned anything from the past and look at that story with the eyes of an innocent child. America is doing this for all the right reasons, inventing weaponized viruses in China because they don't give a shit what happens if it gets out any more than our own government does. And of course, kids, get your decoder ring and let's see what they really mean by all this. Could it possibly be that they are preparing for the next wave of lockdowns and misery on the world? Or are we really are we gonna wake up? This is really happening.
That's through the eyes of a child. I said, what are those ghosts doing to the chicken man? That's how I...
The only thing that good that comes from this kind of stuff is big pharma's profits go up. The U.S. government is spending $1 million on American taxpayer money to fund experiments on dangerous bird flu viruses in collaboration with Chinese scientists. The research involves infecting ducks and geese with different strains of viruses to make them more infectious and study the virus's potential to jump into mammalian hosts.
I can't...
Should we be putting this money into something more practical, like creating a new Godzilla? Because that only attacks Japan.
We're going to need one for this. That's for sure. Godzilla versus bird flu?
Yeah. It is being funded through the U.S. Department of Agriculture. So you mean the people who allow glyphosate to be sprayed on everything you eat?
So
they're the ones handling this? Isn't that fantastic? The responsible people over at the U.S. Department of Agriculture who are poisoning us with glyphosate. God. And their collaborating studies will take place at sites in Georgia, Beijing, and Edinburgh, Scotland. It comes despite similar research being restricted in 2022 and growing concerns that dubious Chinese studies may have started the COVID pandemic. May have.
This is why. Do you see why I'm like?
I'm
having outbursts because for 3 goddamn years we all knew the thing. Even Jon Stewart, that pussy, could see it and say it.
He say it?
Oh no, we're noticing. They're on to part 2 already.
So the White Coast Waste Project, they found this stuff out.
That's what I'm mad about, the waste.
The papers show funding for an avian virus research began in April 2021, and it is slated to continue. They in the heart of COVID, they started this.
Jimmy, I'm a hair away from Turkish nephew and going, I'll say it, we deserve that. I'm a hair away from going full Turkish nephew right now.
The USDA told this website the project was applied for in 2019 and was approved in 2020. The specific viruses the research will work includes the H5NX, the H7N9, and the H9N2, the White Coast Waste Project reported. In 2023, study described H5NX viruses as highly pathogenic with the ability to cause neurological complications in humans.
Are the pangolins okay?
This is unbelievable. The H7N9 strain first infected humans and animals in China in March 2013, and the World Health Organization said it is a concern because most patients have become severely ill. The H9N2 strain has been found in doves, I guess, in China, and while it has a lower pathogenicity than the other strains, it can still infect humans.
Great.
So they're telling you not only that they're going to try and kill you, they're even explaining how they're going to kill you.
Yeah, dude.
Is this like a test to see how fucking stupid we are and how long we'll just sit there and take it?
Oh, well, I think you're seeing it. It is. It is that.
It is. The main collaborators on the project are the USDA Southeast Poultry Research Laboratory.
That's where the UFOs are.
The Chinese Academy of Sciences, and the University of Edinburgh's Rosalind Institute, a Wuhan lab partner.
So I just want to throw this out there to any smarty pants people that go, you know, I think all this government UFO stuff is just a distraction to keep us away from the real story. They do not need a distraction to keep you away from the real story, you moron. They don't need any. You won't look at it. You won't look at it until 3 years later. We will tepidly go, I don't know, maybe something's weird about this.
So the senior vice president from the White Coast Waste Project, it's hard to say. He said it's reckless and indefensible for bureaucrats to bankroll dangerous avian flu gain-of-function studies involving virus experimenters from the notorious Wuhan Animal Lab that likely caused the COVID and the CCP-run parent organization, the Chinese Academy of Sciences. You think
the Wuhan Soup Animal Lab?
Taxpayers shouldn't be forced to foot the bill for animal experiments with foreign. How about we ban it? How about not? It's not. I'm not upset who's funding it. I'm upset that it's happening.
Hey, my tax dollars go to much worse stuff, pal. Can you just not make the fucking super disease?
I know. Following the publication of the documents by the WCW, Republican Senator Joni Ernst of Iowa wrote a letter Thursday to Tom Vilsack, the Secretary of the USDA, seeking more information about the department's ongoing funding of the research. The letter read, I was troubled to learn from the nonprofit group White Coast Waste Project that USDA is supporting experiments involving highly pathogenic avian influenza virus that pose a risk to both animals and to humans.
Were you?
Troubled?
Yeah.
Boy, if only we could find a way to harness the power of understatement, the energy crisis would be a thing of the past.
Get a Campbell video in this, and we're
understatement
about greenhouse gases no more.
The understatement is crushing.
I think it might be a less than optimal paradigm that we keep going to China and making new crazy viruses and then pretending somebody ate bat soup.
They should know by now to suspect foul play.
Got him.
Those gosh darn journalists. When it comes to researchers who have ties to the dangerous Wuhan lab, and simply switching from bats to birds causes concern that they are creating more pathogens of pandemic potential. Here's my warning.
I feel a touch of concern in my esophagus.
The Biden administration should be walking on eggshells until they cut off every cent going to our adversaries. We cannot allow what happened in Wuhan to happen again.
Did he just, is that a real thing they just said? That? Can you believe we're working with our adversaries on secret deadly pathogens again? How does this keep happening? Because they're not our adversary, moron?
Can you believe we're sending all our manufacturing work to our adversaries in China?
Our arch balloon enemy, China?
Despite the senator's concerns, the USDA spokesperson told this website, it is common for international researchers to conduct independent research that's connected to the same end goal, and that the research does not it doesn't qualify as gain of function.
Oh, thank God, man! Don't get me like worked up like that.
Oh, you mean
Misha? It's okay. It doesn't qualify.
Doesn't qualify. Then don't worry. A USDA spokesman said it. The same guy who says glyphosate is good for you.
Yeah, well, I do. I mean, I didn't get enough of it today. I might be.
Boy, where could you find a USDA guy to lie for a corporation? It's harder to hire someone to help you with your luggage in Bangladesh.
Okay, the USDA, like, I just want to know, when everybody's doing all this and we do these stories, and your Chris Cuomos and everybody else and all my friends, and they all having to see these little things, when are you going to have your goddamn Kaiser Soze moment where you're holding your coffee and you look at all the things on the board and realize the whole thing is wrong? It's not
all
like,
wrong.
Oh, well, hopefully after this election we'll get some of this cleaned up. It's the whole thing is worthless. The whole thing. Well, not worthless. Very valuable viral research.
So the guy from the USDA said, anytime Senator Ernst has a question for the USDA about our research or our commitment to helping America's farmers mitigate animal diseases like highly pathogenic avian influenza,
stop fucking pangolins.
She should reach out to us directly, before putting misinformation in a press release or public letter. And despite the senator's assertions, this is not gain of...
What is it called? What's it called then?
You tell me what he won't,
around?
He won't tell...
It's just called...
it's gain of goofing. Because animal disease present a global threat, it is common for international researchers to conduct independent research that's connected to the same. But what Senator Ernst lays out in her letter is far off base from what's actually transpiring. And on top of that, it's based on approval decisions that predate this administration.
Like this, this reads like when I'm really hungry and they've screwed up my delivery and there's no one I can talk to, and I just have to click the thing like, well, this is not something in our policy, and there's like everything is that now is a goddamn automated response, like pretending to care about your concerns.
Yes.
Do you remember when RFK was on and that British guy, that imbecile in Britain who was on the reality show? He was in power at one point during lockdowns, and his leaked text messages came out, and he goes, "When do we deploy the new variant?" And we're talking about like, what do you make it? None of us made anything of it because it's so insane that he said that. It has to be a joke, right? And you said to RFK, like, what do you make of that? He goes, I don't even know what to make of that. RFK, a guy who knows what to make of that. And I believe him because I'm like, it couldn't possibly be. In fact, I said at the time, they wouldn't let this jerk off in on the plan of deploying the new variant, so it's got to be a joke. No, yeah, they would. Yeah, they would.
Hey, come see us live on tour in Los Angeles, Palm Springs, Stockholm, Amsterdam, Rotterdam, Berlin, Copenhagen, Oslo, Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania, Cortland, New York, Oakmont, Pennsylvania, right outside Pittsburgh, El Paso, and San Antonio, Texas. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for all those tickets.